Good morning everyone, I'm Gary Martin and today I'm excited to say I'm out here to test two of the hottest irons on the market for the low handicap golfer, and two irons I'm very interested in ordering, which is the Ping I59 and the Titleist T100. It's the two irons aimed at sort of low to mid handicap golfers that I am most interested in buying, so I'm looking forward to this test. So you might wonder why I'm outside today. Well, I'm genuinely in the market to buy one of these two irons, so I want to test them outside because I'm really interested in, the sound the club makes outside, how it feels, whether I can shape the ball with them. And of course, obviously forgiveness, which sometimes I don't think you can sort of appreciate all them sort of factors inside. So I'm outside today, I'm going to be testing them. I'm going to be talking through the features and benefits as well, and why I'm interested in these two irons. So I'm already fully warmed up and I'm going to start with the I59. Now I think I'm, the perfect person to give you feedback on this iron because I've actually used the iBlade now for 2 years, and the I59 obviously is a newer model with some improvements. It's forged and they're claiming that it's as forgiving as the I210. So we're going to see about that when I hit a ball, because I'm very familiar with the iBlade, so I'll be able to tell you if there is any sort of real differences. Oh, that flew nice. I think what I would say straight away is that it's softer. It feels like it's compressed more off the face than my iBlade. Ball flight wise, I've got the same shafts in as my irons, the X100. Ball flight was very similar. The only difference that I found there was the feel, certainly softer. Just going to hit another one. I really like the feel of that, and the ball flight. Very penetrating ball flight, and that's one of the reasons I went to the iBlade, because I did actually have the AP2s, and when I tested the iBlades, they were a little bit stronger flighted, and I felt that I could work the ball a little bit more. My bad shot with the AP2 was always a little bit of a pull, and I always felt that there was just a little bit of offset on them, and when I went to the iBlade, I found it much easier to shape the ball left to right. So we'll see with the T100 when I test that if there's still the case of, missing the ball a little bit to the left. So far I would say it feels better. It certainly looks a lot better. I love this new sort of finish on the club. It looks really good. Very expensive though. I checked out how much a 7-iron set were earlier and they're £1,550, they're getting really expensive. But it's certainly an improvement on the iBlade. It's certainly softer to hit. I'm not sure whether it's any more forgiving. So the T100, I've actually been really looking forward to trying this one. I think this is the hottest iron of 2021. The one that most people at our golf club have been interested in anyway. Well, ball flight wise was very similar there. Very similar to my iBlade and the I59, which is pleasing because that's one of the reasons why I got rid of the AP2. I had the 718, so I always used to think it popped up a little bit more. Ooh, I've hit that one a little bit heavy. We'll discard that one. You might be sort of wondering why I'm testing these clubs with range balls as well, and it's not ideal, but this is real life circumstances. If you go to test golf clubs at your local club or an American Golf or somewhere like that, you're not always going to have Pro V1s, so in an ideal world I would like to test them with Pro V1s, but it's not, it's very occasional you'll get that opportunity. That were nice. I'm really stuck on anything to say about this, because I did think this would be a little bit softer than the Ping, and I also thought it'd be a little bit more forgiving. You know, I really were interested in the T100 because I thought when I had the 718 AP2 I always felt it was just a tad more forgiving than the iBlade, but I think now the I59 is being made more forgiving. I think it's more in line with the T100. So I would say they're quite equally, you know, they're very equal on forgiveness. Looks wise, let's have a look. What do we think when we put them behind the ball? Right, I would certainly say, looking at them two, and I'll show you this angle, guys, I would say the T100 it looks slightly more forgiving, and I think that's more to do with the colour of the face. I think the colour of the face is offset from the toe and the heel, and it really sort of draws you into the club face a little bit more. The grooves look a little bit sort of thicker as well, so the white lines in the groove sort of stand out more on the face, where with a Ping they're quite thin grooves and they've not got paint infill in there. So it's just from the top, the T100 does look more forgiving. It will inspire a bit more confidence. So just to finish off with this test, I'm going to play 3 shots with each club. I'm going to play a draw, a fade and a knockdown, because they're 3 shots that, you know, I would play on the golf course when required, and to see how these, you know, clubs perform. So I'm going to start off with a draw. You'll see I'm just closing my stance off a little bit here, and I'm going to swing down the line of my feet, so swing out to the right and try and just get that club face closing. So it's a very subtle draw. It didn't draw a great deal. And let's open up a little bit now. So opening the left hip. I'm going to swing across my shoulders. And again, a very subtle fade. So they have got quite a lot of forgiveness in these clubs. It's not, you know, allowing me to really create much side spin when I'm playing them swings. And a knockdown, so I'm going to go low on the grip, and I'm going to swing just to my shoulder, so not quite as long in the swing. And I will narrow the stance a little bit as well to, you know, make sure my hips stay mobile and I can turn my body to target. Oh, that was nice. That's a lovely little shot. That felt solid, and sometimes with a Ping gang, with the iBlade, when I play that shot, it don't feel as solid. So the I59, let's see if these are more workable, because they certainly look a little bit more workable from here. I just maybe looks a little bit less forgiving than the T100, but in testing it were as forgiving as you saw. So we go for the draw. Oh, definitely shaped more. Definitely shaped a lot more. Yeah, I could definitely see that. There's no right or wrong answers in this test either, guys. You know, you might be somebody that doesn't want to shape the ball. You want to hit it straight, which would mean the T100 would be more for you. Or you might be somebody that likes to play with a cut or, you know, and actually get the ball moving. So we'll go left to right here. Yeah, there's certainly a lot more workability with this one, the I59. Let's see what it's like on that knockdown. Just equally as good as the T100 on the knockdown shot. These are certainly more forgiving than my iBlades. You know, I would definitely say they're more forgiving than my iBlades. They feel softer off the head. I think Ping's made a great improvement. One thing I would be mention about these is that I'm a bit disappointed with Ping on the shaft options for such an expensive iron, you know, for £1,550. I don't feel like there should be so many shafts that are an upgrade charge. And, you know, as far as the modus shaft, you know, these irons are going to be aimed at a low handicap golfer, and when you get to the like modus 120s, they're not included. I don't get that, guys, you know, I just don't get it. You know, you should be putting shafts without an upcharge that more, you know, the lower handicap players would more likely choose. They're not going to be choosing, you know, lightweight shafts generally speaking. You know, I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, most low handicap golfers will tend to be a bit more aggressive and use a heavier or a stiffer shaft. And I just feel like there's not so many options for the more aggressive swinger unless you want to pay an upcharge. So it's only a little bit of constructive criticism, because you know, I love Ping product. But so I've been playing the iBlade for a couple of years. You know, I'm genuinely in the market for a new set of irons, and you know, after testing them two irons, what I would say is that I would say the I59 is certainly softer than the iBlade. It felt, you know, like it compressed more on the face. I didn't see a huge improvement in ball flight. You know, it was very similar to the iBlade, but what I did notice is that I felt like I couldn't feel miss hits as much. You know, when I hit shots with my iBlade, I can feel sort of off-centre shots more than what I could feel with the I59. I certainly weren't flushing the I59 every time because I could see that in the ball flight, but I couldn't actually feel a miss hit. So, you know, that may be where the description of feeling more forgiving comes from. You know, they're saying it's more forgiving. Well, I didn't notice it. I'm only going to be honest with you. I didn't notice it in ball flight, but I noticed it as it didn't feel as bad maybe when I was mishitting it. With the T100, you know, I were expecting a little bit more forgiveness than the I59, but I think that just comes from that, you know, the I59 is more forgiving than the iBlade now, so they're more in line with each other on forgiveness. So I felt there was very equal on forgiveness, the T100 and the I59. I felt they were very equal on feel. I think looks-wise, you know, when I put them down behind a ball, I think that the T100 inspired a little bit more confidence. You know, that little bit thicker top line did inspire more confidence. Certainly for someone like myself, you know, doesn't always play a lot of golf, sometimes it's quite sporadic, that would be the one that I'd be more confident of putting down and hitting. And I felt when it come to shot shaping, that really sort of was the big separation between the irons, because I felt the iBlade, you know, was a lot more sort of maybe tour inspired as far as, you know, you could really shape a shot. I really tried with the T100 and it was fighting against it, and there weren't much curve on the ball at all. So I think forgiveness wise, you know, for somebody that's not always swinging perfectly, the T100 is definitely more forgiving. But you could be that golfer that were looking for more playability, and I think that's why I went to the blade in the first place. So I think in conclusion, T100 certainly more forgiving and the iBlade is more workable. And I think we'll leave it on that.